Hello, Stitchy friends. It's Jen back for another Flosstube video. Happy New Year, everybody. Today is January the 11th. 11th. Yes, the 11th. 2025. What a heck of a year that was. But we made it. Welcome back to my Flosstube channel. If you are new here, my name is Jen. I am also known as Miska Cat or Miska's Crafty Sanctuary on Instagram. Yeah, if you are returning to my channel, thank you so much. As you're aware, I am the most inconsistent Flosstuber out there. I'm pretty sure at this point. So thank you for hanging out with me and sticking by. And I do have some progress to show you. I'm trying something new this year. So far it's going very well. If I continue to keep up with this, and the husband continues to work Saturday nights, then that will give me time to hopefully do a little bit more recording and hopefully be a little bit more consistent with my videos. Again, I promise nothing, but the hope is always there. My last Flosstube video was a whip parade and a finish parade. That was back in August, I think. September, August, somewhere in there. So it's been a bit of a minute. And my helper has arrived. Hi, Flatty. So anyways, let's get to it. I'm going to try and start at the beginning of where I kind of left off last time. So shortly after my last video, I did have a couple new starts. I know, I said in my video I don't do a lot of new starts, but I had some new starts. So I'm going to start by showing those now, and we'll go from there, and we're just going to kind of wing it. So one of the new starts that I did is a pattern called Dancing Witches. I bought it off of Etsy. I can't remember the shop's name, but it does have a www.ravencoven.com. I feel like that was not the name of the Etsy shop, but I might be very, very wrong. Anyways, they had a pack of 11 different witch charts, and I fell in love with this one because I thought it was absolutely adorable. I will have to put a picture up here of what it will look like when it's done. But I did start it right away. And I'm actually doing this on a piece of linen that came with, it was the fabric that came with my Happy Haunting shepherd's bush pattern. But I felt like it worked better for this than what it was intended for. But this is where I have gotten to. And it's just a monochrome chart, but as you can see, I have a very sexy pair of legs coming in, and there's another high-heeled foot right over here. So I have actually made pretty good progress, I feel like, on this one. I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of a really fun stitch. So I'm hoping to put some more work into it. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to move the hoop or not for it. Most likely I will, but I'm going to try and get as much done as I can before I move the hoop. Yeah, and go from there. But yeah, I'm really, really liking the way that this is turning out so far. And sometimes just stitching like with the one color is just sometimes what the soul needs. So I started that one, and then the next one that I started was also another Etsy purchase, and it is called Thou May Ingest, and this is by Cross Stitch with Art. Again, I will put a photo here of what it will look like. I'm not 100% sold on the fabric choice for this one, but I thought with like the design scheme, it kind of reminded me of like the old school like embroidery things that, you know, you would have in your bathroom or whatever. And I felt like a lot of those would be on linen, so I went with a linen to kind of like replicate that as well too. But for some reason, like as soon as I saw this, I must have been having a day, but I thought it was like the funniest thing ever. And anyways, so I had to buy it, and I did a little tiny start on it, and I have the word satchel. And like I say, not the biggest start. This one I will definitely have to move the hoop for, but again, I'm gonna just try and do as much as I can without moving it, and again, go from there. So anyways, I think this one will be really fun. I have to get a little bit more involved in it, but yeah, yeah, it tickled my funny bone that day. The next, okay, so that one is done. Yay, one bag done. I do remember working on Grove a little bit. I had to go back and rewatch my whip parade because I wasn't sure what I had actually worked on and what I hadn't. But I did end up doing a little bit more on Grove. This is what she will look like when she is done. I definitely did not get close to finishing the next row like I had wanted to. But this is a chart by Heaven and Earth Designs. The art is by Marta Dalig. This is one of my favorite charts. I love this, and this is my furthest along piece for full coverage. But I did do a little bit more work on her. Not a huge amount, but I did get a bit more done. And this is where she is at. And I know when I showed her in my whip parade, I had pretty much ended up here. So I did do some more down here. Yeah, so I did do more down here. I do want to work on this more this year, because I do need her finished. But we'll see what happens with the way the plans go this year, because there's some new stuff happening as per usual. So I did work on that one a little bit. The one that I was focusing primarily on last year was my pumpkin dealer, because I kind of got engrossed in it. This is a retired chart, also by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is one of her very early charts that she had when she was first starting. The artwork, bless you, is by Larry McDougall. Size-wise, this would be like a mini for like, if you were to compare it to what the sizes are now. This one is actually 224 stitches wide by 168 stitches high. So it is very little. It is only 2 full pages and 4 partial pages. So it's 6 pages total, but it's, like I say, very small, like, yeah, anyways. But I did make some pretty good progress on it last year. I did get 2 full pages done, and I'm very happy with what I got accomplished. This is pretty heavy confetti because of the size of it. This is what the chart will look like when it is done. And I just think it's so cool. And I'm actually really sad that this isn't available anymore, but because I do really like it. Not like it makes a difference to me because I have it, but I feel like a lot of people would like this chart, if that makes any sense. The only thing that I am so far not super impressed with, and you would never know if you never looked at the two of them together, but this guy's face seems like in the artwork it is a very like squat and wide face, whereas in the actual stitched piece, it looks longer, almost like a horse, like horse shaped, I guess, instead of like being, like I say, like wider and just more round, I guess. You'll see what I mean. So this is how far I've gotten. And like I say, like his face just seems to be kind of the wrong shape. Maybe it's just me, but this is the 2 full pages that I got. So I got page 1 and page 4 done. And I am currently working on page 5. And I'm doing this area right here. And then I'm going to work my way up and then do the last 2 partial pages. But so far, I'm very happy with how it is looking. I think there is quite a bit of detail in there, given the size. And the whole thing will fit, like that's the top and the bottom. So I'm not going to have to move my scroll rods at all. Like it will fit all on this piece of fabric. I'm stitching this on 36 count, 1/1 full cross. Grove, I'm stitching 2/2 full cross on 25 count, which was what was recommended when I first started stitching Hades, and I didn't experiment a lot. I just kind of went with it because I like the coverage of it, but it is very thick. Thankfully, Grove is not very confetti heavy, so I'm not having an issue quite so much getting my needle through, but definitely the 36 count is easier to work with. 32 count is even easier still. I think 32 count 1/1 full cross is probably my favorite. But yeah, this is what it is looking like. So yeah, super happy with the amount that I got done. This was my leap year start for February last year. So the goal is to have this finished before the next leap year. And I think that will not be an issue to do. So there is that. I think that's about it. That was all I kind of worked on last year. I did end up getting a finish, which I will show now. So every year I do a new year, new start. And I always try and pick a piece that is manageable and obtainable to finish. I have a whole pile of stuff that I have kitted up and like have all the supplies for, and they're ready to go. And I just try and grab one of those every year. Just something quick, something small that, like I say, is easily obtainable that I can get done in the next year. So last year, my stitching New Year start was Happy Haunting by Shepherd Bush. And I did get it done. I substituted the fabric out for a hand dyed that I had done myself and used the fabric for the Dancing Witches, at least part of it. I just thought the colors popped a little bit better on what I chose. But I did run into a lot of problems with this piece, but this is the finished piece. And I'll just come in a little bit. So there is the top. So one of the issues that I had is this was a kit. So it came with all the floss, it came with the beads, it came with everything. So this green for the grass here was almost the same color that they recommended for the greenery on the plants and the pumpkins and all that other stuff. They looked exactly the same. You could not tell the difference. This one right here, as you can tell, is variegated. The one that they had chose for the leaves and stuff was basically the darker part of the green, but in a solid. So like you couldn't see anything. So I did sub that color out for a different floss that I just had in stash. I ended up changing this color here. I can't remember what they had recommended, but it didn't it didn't look the same as the cover photo, and I liked this shade better. I just thought it worked better with the design of the outfit. So I did change that one as well too. I had a lot of issues with knowing where to start these different bands. So basically the pattern that I got, this was like a pattern, and then on a separate sheet of paper they had these bands, and then on another sheet of paper they had the words, and they weren't lined up on the main chart. Like, even had they done the first part of the stitch or the first letter or whatever, I feel like it would have just been a little bit easier. The words, in fact, actually started right at the edge, like they line up perfectly. So that was fine, but it wasn't mentioned in the chart, and I wish there would have just been a little bit more clarity for this. So I ended up doing these bands, especially this broomstick band, like probably like 4 times, because I just either kept messing up the counting, or I just started in the wrong place, or just one thing after another. But I do really I love this band. I love this checkerboard. And this one right here was really fun to do too. And then, I don't know if you can see. So I actually ran out of the green for the hill, and I used what was supposed to be called for the leaves. I used it in this back corner, and honestly, unless somebody told you, I'm not sure if you would really notice. That's how close it is. And it was funny because I had so much of this purple color that I used for the letterings. Like, I had like almost like a full like skein chunk left over, like all 8 strands left over, and yet the main color that they use on this piece, they didn't give you quite enough. And I think I actually went down a size in fabric. So I think it was supposed to be done on a 28 count, and I think this is, oh, I think no, never mind. This is a 28 as well too, but it is dyed, so it should be a little bit smaller. I don't know. Just, I was a little bit frustrated, but anyways, it is done. I'm happy it is finished, and I did get it done. So that is a very good thing. So I finished that, and then silly me decided that they were going to participate in the 2025 Haid Sal this year. Because why not? So I actually asked the hubby which out of the 12 designs that he liked. So what had happened is you could pick one of the 12 designs, you had to pay for the chart, and then you had to go into the Facebook group, complete a survey, and then that's where you chose the chart that would be emailed out to you. So the chart that hubby had chose was the steampunk, oh, no, you saw that one already. Where are we? The steampunk portal, which is this one right here. And I am doing this on a 28 count, antique white even weave, 1/1 full cross. So my new size will be 10 3/8 by 10 3/8 instead of 11 5/8 by 11 5/8. So this is the chart that he liked. So we ended up getting the chart a little bit early. Unfortunately, that is my busiest time of year for work. So I did not get a lot of stitches done on it. I am gonna try to finish this year. I'm not gonna like super put a lot of pressure on myself, but I am gonna try. I think if I do approximately 2,000 stitches a week, I should be able to get it done. I am a little bit behind right now because I think I have about 1,200 stitches and we're about 2 weeks in, so I have a little bit of catching up to do. I can hopefully bang some stitches out tomorrow to catch up. The nice thing about this chart is there is a really good mixture, at least so far, of confetti with block stitching. So I feel like this is actually obtainable. Like if I am really tired one night or if I don't have a lot of time to stitch, I can maybe focus on some of the block stitching just to get that done. And then when I'm a little bit more refreshed, I can work on the confetti areas. But this is where I am at so far. And it's amazing how much some people can stitch and how fast some people can stitch. Well, I shouldn't say fast. I don't know if it's a speed thing. I feel like more people just have more time to devote to stitching in their day. I don't feel like I'm a fast stitcher. I don't feel like I'm a slow stitcher. I feel like I'm pretty average. But I just don't have the time that a lot of people have. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. But I am pretty happy. I think I've averaged about No, I've gotten about 100 stitches a day, maybe a little bit more, but that's okay. I will make some good progress tomorrow on this, is my plan. But that's where I'm at. Like I say, I am really enjoying this, but yeah, quite a few people are like already either done all the way across, like they've picked the 310 and the 939 and they've gone all the way across the top row. And there's like some people that are like 1 or 2 pages finished already. Like it's amazing like what some people can get accomplished. But there's my tiny start. I am happy with it. I think it'll be really nice when it's done. Like other people's progress is looking really, really good. So yeah. So then I did have a New Year new start as per usual. This is a chart I've had kitted up for quite a substantial amount of years. I'm actually not even sure if this chart is available anymore. It is by Bees Needleworks, and when I looked for her online store, I didn't see it anymore, but I'm not sure. I know she does have a Facebook group. I don't know how active it is anymore, but I will put a picture up of what it will look like here. And there's the other monster. So this one I'm doing, the whole thing is actually done in specialty stitches, and you use whatever floss that you want. She does have recommendations for her model stitch, which I'm pretty much using, but I am changing some of them. So I'll just kind of show you some of the color. Well, I'll show you the colors that I'm using. So this is, take them out. So this is Sweet Lavender. This is by Gloriana. It's like a really lilac-y kind of purple. So there's that one. There is Aubergine, which is a dark purple. This one is called Coffee Bean. Brownie color. This is called Charcoal. It's got some really pretty shines to it. This is called Ecru. Pretty standard. So one of the reasons that I wanted to really start this one is I've had all these floss just sitting in a bag waiting to be used for this project. And once I get them done, I can start using them for other things. This is one of the ones that I substituted out I didn't use her recommended. I am using this one instead. This one is called Salt and Pepper. So it's got some lights and some darks in it. This one is called Silver Fox. And it is a very shiny silver. I actually had quite a bit of that in stash, so it's nice to be able to use up some of it. Anyways, this one is called Midnight. And this one, I believe too, I also did not use her recommended, because I believe all of hers were Gloriana that she recommended, and that one is a water lily. This one is Robin's Egg. So this is a very light blue, kind of a gray blue. And I am also using Fur. This is another one that I substituted out from something in my stash to use. But I think they're all gonna look really nice all together. And then I decided I have some treasure braid, both in PB12 and PB66. So these two petite treasure braids, one's a dark purple and the other one is a light purple. I did just use the dark purple today on it. I think I'm pretty happy with it. So I think I wasn't sure which one would work best for the chart, so I just grabbed a couple and I figured I can use them wherever I see fit. And then I also grabbed some of this whisper thread just for fun. So this is W98, and this is one of those fluffy mohairy type flosses. So like I say, I did just start this on New Year's Day. I'm actually really enjoying this. So this is where I've gotten to. So the salt and pepper has been used for all of this body, breast feathers and stuff like that, and each one is a different specialty stitch. So this one is one stitch, this is a different stitch, that's a different stitch, that's a different stitch, and then there's a different stitch going up the center. And then I use the Silver Fox for the beak. I use Midnight for the outside of his eyes, and then I use the Sparkle Petite Treasure braid for the actual pupils. And then I've been using this whisper thread for his face. And I was actually wondering if I should use the whisper thread for his wings on the side to kind of tie it all together. But that one's this is all just straight satin stitches. So not satin stitches, but like they're straight stitches. So there's not a lot of like things that you have to do with the needle and like whatnot else. And the wings are a very detailed stitch. So I'm not sure if that whisper thread will work, but I think I might try it, but we'll have to see how it goes. So anyways, I am so far really enjoying this. This fabric is a piece of Quaker cloth that I had in my stash. I've had it there for quite a number of years. I think it was from like a grab bag from Silk Weavers. And I was never sure what I was going to use it for, but I think it'll work okay for this project. I kind of wanted it all to be in those like purpley tones. So hopefully it'll look all right when it's all done. So the new thing that I'm starting this year is there is a stitching group called Stitch by the Moon, and it was started to do to help you kind of rotate through your projects. And as you all know, I am not somebody that changes projects on a regular basis, but I figured I'm going to try it this year just to see how it goes. So a chart has been, or a calendar has been created to basically show what zodiac sign is the moon is in that day or whatever. And it changes every 2 to 3 days. So I have gone out and I've bought this little notebook. I just got this from Michael's. I think it was like $5 or $6. But I thought it would be appropriate with all the moons on it to help me kind of keep track of what I was doing. So on January 1st and 2nd, the moon was in Aquarius, and for that I did the steampunk portal. For I think like one of the things was like sci-fi, and I thought that kind of fit into the sci-fi vibe of the chart or whatever. And then the 3rd through the 5th, the moon was in Pisces. So I also kept out steampunk portal. I can't remember what how I made that fit in. I think it was fantasy or something. Maybe it might have been fantasy or something. So I figured that would work. 6th through the 7th, the moon was in Aries. And for that, it was, one of the suggestions was a dragon. So I pulled out Air Dragon. This is my oldest chart. Not oldest chart, but it's my oldest whip. I started this like forever ago. Probably like 15 years, 16 years ago. And this is by Cross My Heart Incorporated. This is what it will look like when it is done. I have so far completed his face and like his leg, like pretty much the center part is what I've done. And now I'm working my way down this wing. So I did manage a bit of progress with this. So this is, it's kind of hard to see. That will kind of help. So I had done a lot of these light blues and like the tip of this feather, and I had gotten the majority of this one done in 2 days, which I thought was pretty good for me. So that's where I got to. I will take off the one side of the Q-snap just to give you a better idea of what it is looking like. So that's kind of where I'm at. On him. I think when I'm done working on everything that I can here, I'm gonna go back down because this mountain area down here, the top part of it is also on the same page as these feathers. So once I finish that up, then I can actually like get that page finished. But I really love the colors in this. I don't mind working on the black. It really doesn't bother me. But just for some reason, I just never pull this one out. Surprisingly, there's a lot of confetti in it. Especially, not so much in the feathers, but up here, there's quite a bit of color changes. So, but I do really like the way it looks. And like I say, with this being my oldest whip, it would be really nice to get this done. I think at one point I contemplated, because I think there's about 12 pages, if I just finished a page a month, in a year it would be done. It always sounds so much easier doing it that way than actually applying those theories. But yeah, so my plan is I'm going to pull this out every month for the Aries stitching is going to be my goal. And then the next days, so the 8th and the 9th, the moon was in Taurus. And for that, I pulled out Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. And this one I also showed in my whip parade. The motivation for stitching on this one was it was supposed to be autumnal colors, so I figured Halloween, autumn, I felt like it was appropriate. So I'm currently working on block 8 of this one, and last time I only had the cat and some of these tendrils done. So I actually got quite a bit done in the 2 days. I did a lot of this orange stitching. I think I had these 2 pumpkins done, but the rest of this I did in those 2 days. So I'm actually really happy with pulling this out for those 2 days. This one is being stitched on, I believe, it's either 28 or 32 count, 1/1 full cross. So it's going to be teeny, teeny, tiny. That will be the whole size. But I did all the outlinings for the blocks, so I can pretty much bounce wherever I want. So, but I'm going to keep working on this block until it's done, and then I'll figure out where I'm going to go from there. So, but I figured this would be appropriate for the autumnal colors. And then after that, the 10th and the 11th was Gemini stitching, and one of the things for that was owls. So I pulled out the Great Escape again, which is this one right here. I actually, in those 2 days, I ended up getting his whole head done, and this row of stitching right here. So I felt like that was quite a bit for 2 days. But I've always found like specialty stitches go a little bit faster than cross stitching. So, but the next one is Cancer, and for Cancer, one of the motivators or whatever is stitch on something with a moon in it, or there were pastel colors, pink, baby pink was one of the ones, or anything with like that had to do with like a mother or a grandmother type figure type thing. So because this chart has a moon in it, I'm going to keep this one out for the next 2 to 3 days, however long the stitching rotation will be. So so I'll do a little bit more on it tomorrow, and then I will pull out my steampunk portal for the rest of the day. So that's about, oh, nope, not quite done yet. I forgot something else that I had worked on last year after I'd done my whip parade. I had also worked on my Swamp Princess chart by Stitchy Princess Black. She is a Ukrainian designer, and she recommended people stitch this one in solidarity for the Ukraine war. I have not finished it yet, which is pretty sad, but I did get some more progress on it last year. Sorry, this video is all over the place. Here's where I'm at, and I ended up stitching, I believe, this crane, these little flowers, and like the stalks and whatnot else. I think I had just had that part done. So I did do a little bit more on this piece. This is stitched on a 40 count like mint green linen. It's kind of getting washed out by my light, but that's a little bit better, more true to color. But I do want to get some more done on this eventually. Even though I'm trying to like rotate my projects a little bit more, I'm still going to try and stick to certain projects instead of like pulling them all out, because I do want to get some stuff finished this year. So Steampunk Portal is going to be my focus. I do want to get some more work done on Grove this year. And then I'm going to just try and stick to a couple projects and just try and fit them into the Stitch with the Moon or Stitch by the Moon whatever. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to just try and do that. So that is it for the stitching. Thank you so much for watching. Like I say, I'm hoping I can try and be a little bit more consistent this next year, but we'll see how it goes and how life throws things my direction. I do have a couple knitting things to show, so if you are interested in seeing those, by all means, please hang around for a little bit longer. I did do quite a bit more knitting last year than I typically do. So I actually ended up with 3 cross stitch finishes. So the Happy Haunting was the main one. I finished a Mill Hill kit, a Buttons and Beads, and I finished something else that was very small. I can't remember what it was though. I'd have to check my Instagram. But there were 3 finishes, 3 stitching finishes, and I finished 4 knitting projects last year, and they were 4 big shawls. So I did get quite a bit more knitting done last year than stitching, but we'll see what happens this year. So like I say, if you are interested in seeing some knitting, please hang around. If not, thank you so much for joining me, and hopefully I will see you the next time. Hopefully I will be a little bit more consistent. So thank you so much for coming and watching my channel. So the first thing I will show is my This or That shawl. And this is by Amba. She's an Australian designer. So this is what the whole thing will look like. This was a like kind of choose your own adventure thing. So you got your pattern and you got to pick, first of all, whether you wanted to do the shawl or you wanted to do the wrap. I have a lot of triangular shawls, so I decided I was going to do a wrap this time. And so the first clue was you either pick stripes or spots. I chose to do both. And then you chose whether you wanted to do triangles or circles. So I chose the triangles for the lace. And then you went into this beautiful mosaic, and she had 2 different versions of mosaic for this as well too. And then she had a light or a dark version for whichever kind of mosaic you wanted to do. And then followed by more lace. And this is where I was in my whip parade. So I had done all of that. So I made a start on the next mosaic. So this is the dark version of the diamonds, which I'm really liking. I really need to just get busy and finish this. It goes by so quick once you get into it. But you know, I squirrel and have to start all the things and whatnot else. So I will be finishing this year because I think that mosaic, and then there is one more piece of lace, and I think that is the end. So I'm looking really forward to that. The other one that I am working on right now is something that I started a very long time ago. This is called, oh, what is this called? Kulan, I think. Oh, please. Yeah, the Cluran shawl. And this is by Wolf and Fawn Knits. So this is what it'll look like when it's done. I really like it. It's really pretty. And there's the name of the designers. So this has been a bit of an experiment for me. It was supposed to be knit with a fingering weight, but I found colors that I really liked and they were a DK, so I just went with it. And then I decided to put some mohair into it because why not? And I should definitely try and make things more difficult for myself. But this is where I am at so far. So it's this beautiful purple and gray. And then I got this like blush pink for the mohair. And this is where I had left off after my whip parade. So I've made my way through chart 1 of the lace. And now I'm working on chart B. And as soon as I'm done that, then I go back and I do some more stripes. And then I think there's the lace border, and I think that's the end of this one too. So yeah, it's quite large already. Like this is already my wingspan, so it's quite big already. I'm a little concerned how this is going to block out because, like I say, the yarn is a DK weight. I'm doing 2 strands of the mohair and I've gone up a needle size. So I'm hoping that will balance out the size difference for this, but we'll see what happens. Like I say, if it doesn't work out, I'm going to chalk it up to a learning experience and that'll be it. So the other start that I had is going to be the Geo Gradient shawl by Stephen West. This was his 2024 mystery knit along. I'm such a sucker for them. I never can keep up, but I love this one so far. It's so cool. So I ended up going to what was it? It was a Fiber Fest, and I found these yarns by Ginger Snap That, and they are in the colors Through the Veil and Shroud. Those are the 2 colors. How cool are they? And then I had this what do you call it? I totally lost it. The fuzzy stuff. Totally slipped my mind. I had this in my stash. And it's the fuzzy mohair. The fuzzy mohair. So I'm adding this to it as well too. And I love it. It's so cool. So this is where I'm at. So this, let's show you the right side, not all the ends, because there's a lot in here. So this is where we're at. This top part here was the first glue, where you do these like really cool half circle things. This is actually the middle of the shawl. It's so cool. And then you do some, what do you call this? What is it called? I can't remember what it's called. This like really brioche. You do this like brioche border, and then you do some bubbles, and then you do some more brioche. And then you start doing a bind off of these triangles. So that is currently where I am working. As you can see, I am not even halfway through, but I'm starting to bind off. And then you go, I believe you go up to the top and you finish the top, and then you go and you do some more stuff at the bottom. It's so cool. But I'm really loving these colors together. I love it. And this brioche was so, once you got the hang of it, it was so easy, and it's so, that little band is like so squishy. So squishy. Anyways, loving this so far. I really need to work more on it. I need to get it done because, you know, I'm gonna have to do the one that he comes out with again next year because I'm a sucker, even though I haven't finished the last two and this one. So I'm 3 MCALs behind on his. So need to catch up. But I did end up finishing a few shawls. So I ended up being a test knitter for Amba, and this was her Halloween knit that she came up with this year, and this was called Little Raven Shawl, and I did it in this like really super shiny, almost like ink spill yarn from Ice Yarns. And like I say, this was called Little Raven, and that's what it looks like. And I really love it. And I did the DK weight version. So she had a fingering weight, and then she had a DK weight small and a fingering weight large and small. And I did the DK weight. So this would be like the small version of the fingering weight, I believe. Anyways, this was my first time ever doing a test knit, and I wasn't sure if I could keep up. I had a lot of stuff going on, but I really, really wanted to do it. So I picked the smallest thing with the biggest yarn that I could, just to like make sure I could get it done. But this is how it turned out, and I love this yarn for it. And surprisingly, it's holding its shape really well. Like, for not being a wool, like it's a synthetic yarn, and it's actually holding the shape really well. So, and it's holding all the stitches, and it's everything. So I'm really, really quite pleased with that. So that was I think my second or third finish last year for knitting. The other thing that I finished was my Bohemian Halloween Aurora Cabin shawl by Stephen West. And this was the color scheme that I had picked. I wanted all like the old school Halloween colors. In hindsight, I wish I would have done more black with it. Like, I really like this, and I love this part, but I wish I kind of would have picked one of the colors and put a black in here to make it a little bit darker. And then same with this. I wish I would have picked a color with like the black spots, and I think it would have just like overall made the whole thing a little bit more Halloween-y, but in hindsight, I'm still chuffed with it. So, and it's huge. So I can't even show you the whole thing all in one. Anyways, hopefully you can see that. I love the chevron border. That was how I decided what colors I wanted. I wanted the green and the black to be the border. And from there, I just kind of wung it with the rest of the colors. But this thing is like, it's so big. It's like such a blanket. But I love it, and I'm very happy with it. And it looks really cool when it's on, and it's like all like mushed up together. So I did finish that, and then I did finish one more shawl. It went to Kim Stitchery out in the east side of Canada. So I will just have to show a couple pictures here about it. This was called the Bleu Fleur shawl, I believe is what it was called. I can't remember the designer's name. I will put the name of the pattern and the designer here. But it was a very lacy pattern. I think it turned out really well. It was a pretty easy pattern, especially once you got kind of going on it. I stitched it with a 4-ply gradient ombre yarn from Ice Yarns, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Kim is happy with it, so all is good in the world. And yes, that is all. So thank you so much for sticking around for all of this. Like I say, hopefully there will be a little bit more productivity in all of the crafting this year. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to me yatter and yatter on. Hopefully you got some good stitching or knitting or something in while you were doing this. And like I say, I'm going to try to be more consistent this year. I will try. I say that every year, I feel like, but yeah, hopefully with changing projects a little bit more often, I will feel like I actually have something to show people. So we're going to give it a go. That's all I can do. So thank you again so much. Have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your weekend if that's when you're watching this, and I will see you the next time. Bye!